لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وآله وأزواجه وذريته أجمعين. This is the 80th reading of Allama Iqbal's Reconstruction of Religious Thought in Islam. And today we are starting from here. So we're still at Allama Iqbal's conception of man. So his conception of So we looked at his conception of universe, and now he's looking at the conception of man. It's the lot of man to share in the deeper aspirations of the universe. What are the deeper inspiration of the universe around him? It is as if this universe is a living organism, and it has some deeper aspirations which is trying to realize. So it is a lot of man to share. Okay. So man's aspirations are intertwined with the aspirations of the universe around him. So it is a lot of man to share, but also shape, and to shape his own destiny, his own destiny would be the path and the destination, as well as that of the universe. So man is obviously above universe in the sense that he's allowed to shape the destiny, his own destiny, but by shaping his own destiny, is shaping the destiny of the universe. So what is the destiny of the universe? And it does this through by adjusting himself to its forces, but other time putting the whole of his energy to mold its forces. So basically subjugating universe to his own will or his own plans. So that's pure humanism, and very Hegelian at that. Mold his forces to his own ends and purposes. And his own ends and purposes, as far as we have seen so far, is self-creation. Somehow making himself the Lord of this universe. And in this process of progressive change, so it's cumulative progressive change, God becomes his co-worker. So he is a co-worker of God, in the same way as Kant says that human beings are co-workers of God, or God is co-workers of human being. And this gels well with humanism, because humanism is a conception of man as some sort of God. And in this process of progressive change, God becomes a co-worker with him, provided man takes the initiative. So action is very important, because as he has already told us that human beings are creative activity. Thus, in his inmost being, man conceives the Quran as creative activity. So this is Allama Iqbal's conception of man as the highest manifestation of the aspirations of the universe, which is shaping universe in its turn. And that's not important really, because that's mainstream humanistic thought. But what is important is that he's constantly trying to justify it through reference to Quranic verses by distorting them. Let's read this again once. So it is the lot of man to share a deeper aspirations of the universe around him and to shape his own destiny as well as that of the universe, now by adjusting himself to its forces, now by putting the whole of his energy, so he is, although the ultimate purpose is to molding universal forces to his own ends and purposes, there are strategic adjustments and retreat as well. And that's remind me of Allama Iqbal Sakinama, where he says, वजूए कोहिस्तां उचकती हुई, अटकती लचकती सिरकती हुई और सरकती हुई, वजूए कोहिस्तां उचकती हुई, अटकती लचकती सरकती हुई, उछलती फिसलती संभलती हुई, बड़े पेच खाकर निकलती हुई, तीस बड़े पेच खाकर निकलती हुई. दिस इज एडजस्टमेंट. रुके जब तो सिल चीर देती है ये, रुके जब तो सिल चीर देती है ये, पहाड़ों के दिल चीर देती है ये, जरा देख है साक़ी लाल अफ़ाम, सुनाती है ये जिंदगी का पैगाम. So this is reflected in his poetry as well. This conception of human being as basically everything in the universe. So human beings are creative self-activity, and realizing that creative self-activity through shaping everything around him or her according to her ends and purposes, that is, according to Allama Iqbal, is God's plan, and that is the destiny of the universe, and that is the destiny of the human being as well. And then he quotes this ayah from Surah Al-Ra'd, one of the most misunderstood ayah generally, but Allama Iqbal obviously. Verily God will not change the condition of men till they change what is in themselves. That they're in a mindset. But this ayah doesn't say what Allama Iqbal is. So basically what he's quoting this ayah to emphasize action and emphasize initiative. But action and initiative are not good or bad in themselves. They depend on what they are for. So let's look at this a bit more closely, and then we'll take the ayah and its tafsir, inshallah. So according to Allama Iqbal, there are deeper aspirations of this universe. And man shares those aspirations. And those, by sharing those aspirations, it is the lot of man to, that's his destiny, that's his station in this world, to shape this universe. Reshape really, because according to his own destiny, shape his own destiny. So it is his lot to shape his own destiny as well as that of universe. So man is a creative self-activity, a demigod, and he has aspirations to become a god, or at least a co-equal of God. And in this aspiration, his destiny, and that's his destiny according to Allama Iqbal, to shape himself for that destiny, as well as to shape this universe in such a way that he is able to fulfill his own ends and purposes. And what are those ends and purposes? To make himself godlike, I guess. Make himself the Lord of this universe. That's what we glean from what he's saying so far. But we might have to adjust this understanding. But it's very humanistic, very, very humanistic. In the process of progressive change, God becomes his co-worker. And that's God's will. And God assists him as long as he takes initiative. That's why action is very important in Allama Iqbal. As he says, amal se zindagi banti hai, jannat bhi jahannam bhi. ये आदम अपनी फितरत में न नूरी है न नारी. So even in that verse he said that this human beings are action, and as long as they act, God comes to their assistance. And this action also but this seems like praising action for its own sake, in a sense, because obviously humans are creative self-activity. So when they are not acting, they are not themselves, in a sense. So that's why he's very impressed by science, technology, progress. And he thinks that this is what Islam was all about until we were defeated in Spain and we went into some sort of stupor, and then Europe sort of overtook our inheritance, so to speak, and we have to take it back from them. That's what I think, really. Okay, now let's go back to the ayah and then we'll finish it off for today, inshallah. So the ayah is of Surah Al-Ra'd, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in the ayah that let's pull up the ayah. So this is from Surah Al-Ra'd. It can be translated as thunder. Ar-Ra'd is thunder. And he's quoting just a part of ayah 11. So that's another thing about this, that he sort of cut off the ayah or part of ayah from its context and then Anyway, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Lahu mu'aqqibatun min bayni yadayhi wa min khalfihi ومن خلفه يحفظونه من أمر الله إن الله لا يغير ما بقوم حتى يغيروا ما بأنفسهم وإذا أراد الله بقوم سوءا فلا مرد له وما لهم من دونه من وال. So this is the full ayah, which says, let's read these English translation first. For each one are successive angels before and behind him, for each man and woman, who protects him by the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the literal translation. Indeed, Allah will not change the condition of a people until they change what is in themselves. And when Allah intends for a people ill, there is no repelling it. And there is not for them beside him any patron. Pickthall's translation is, for him are angels ranged before him and behind him, who guard him by Allah's command. Lo, Allah changes not the condition of a folk until they first change that which is in their hearts. And if Allah willeth misfortune for a folk, there is none that can repel it, nor have they a defender beside him. So, Quranic picture of human being is a helpless creature without God. Yusuf Ali, for each such person there are angels in succession before and behind him. They guard him by command of Allah. Allah does not change a people's lot unless they change what is in their hearts. But when once Allah willeth a people's punishment, there can be no turning it back, nor will they find beside him anyone to protect. And Imam Suyuti's tafsir, yes. Imam Suyuti's tafsir is lahu, that is for man, lil insan, mu'aqqibat. And by mu'aqqibat we mean angels, yet as we have in translations, tata'akkabuhu. من بين يديه, in front of him, ومن خلفه, ورائه, يحفظونهم من أمر الله بأمره من الجن وغيرهم. So they protect human beings by the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from calamities. And then this is the part Allah Iqbal is quoting, إن الله لا يغير ما بقوم. So Allah doesn't change what the situation of a human being or a society. And Imam Suyuti said, La yaslubuhum ni'matu. So he doesn't take away his favors from them. That's what it means. Hatta yughayyiru ma bi anfusihim min al-halati al-jamilati bil-ma'siyah. Unless they change from, following Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's command to disobeying him. So what this ayah is saying really is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't change his favors from a human being or from a society unless they disobey. And you can say by mafhumul mukhalifa that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't change disfavor from disfavor to favor until people change themselves from the state of disobedience to obedience. So basically what the ayah is saying is this. What the ayah is saying is simply this. Allah's favor and his favor is is this worldly favor as well as eternal favor. And his greatest favor is that he has given us the bounty of Iman and all that. Allah's favor is connected to his obedience or disobedience. So if we go from obedience to disobedience, his favor change from disfavor to disfavor, and the other way around. And it is manifested as far as the worldly bounties are concerned, or worldly trials are concerned, in different ways depending on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's plan. But the main purpose of ayah is to emphasize the need for following Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's command. And human beings' ultimate destiny, that is the ultimate the ultimate success, I guess, depends on following Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's commands. And if we disobey him, then there would be ultimate wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this world as well as in the hereafter. That's the simple message. So Quran doesn't glorify action for its own sake. No. Action is only good if it is in obeying the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And action is bad if it disobeys Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what Quran is saying. And this is not what Allama Iqbal is saying. Anyway, let's read the text and finish off for today. Okay, let's reread the text, the one which we have been looking at today. It is the lot of man to share in the deeper aspirations of the universe around him, and to shape his own destiny as well as that of the universe. But as far as we are concerned, destiny of this universe as well as human being is inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. It all belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it will return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's nothing beyond that. So it is the lot of man to share in the deeper aspirations of the universe around him, and to shape his own destiny as well as that of the universe, now by adjusting himself to its forces, now by putting the whole of his energy to mold its forces to his own ends and purposes. And in this process of progressive change, God becomes a co-worker with him, na'udhu billah, provided man takes the initiative. Verily, God will not change the condition of man till they change what is in themselves. Okay, that's enough today, inshallah. So we'll continue from here next time, inshallah.